My experience with stretching is completely anecdotal. It worked for me, aka is bro science. Don't attempt these stretches if you're cold or if you're unexperienced. You will snap your shit up. All the shit I'm doing, it took a long time, like years. And like, don't get discouraged, but as it goes, it gets better and better. So do not snap your shit up. Just take it slow, okay? Okay. Today, at about 6 o'clock, I went for a really long run. I have an app that I use, and it says to do a certain amount of miles a certain type of way. And today, unfortunately, after skipping 2 weeks, was a long run. More specifically, 9 miles. NANI? And it was tough. It was really tough. I think the worst part about it was the conflicting feelings of, man, my back hurts. Man, that was great. So what is that? I don't know. It's like a negative and a positive equals a negative. Maths. So, one thing I wanted to do today, I didn't want to do cardio after doing all of that running this morning. So I thought of this idea of trying to teach how I stretch. Because I feel like when it comes to stretching, a lot of people are shy and, you know, they do the da-da-da-da and the da-da-da-da and the da-da-da-da and the da-da-da-da. But sometimes it's not about that. I think it's thinking about like how to get the most out of your time and how to get the most out of your stretch. So I want to start off naming a few guys that really sparked my interest in stretching and why it means so much to me now. One of the guys that I find super inspiring is David Goggins. This guy was a fat dude, very fat dude, and he went from this to this. 300-pound man. A 300-pound man. Are you kidding me? Let me tell you a little bit about David. So you heard that he went from 300 to 180. He's a ex-Marine, ex-Navy SEAL, and ex-Army. You can imagine how much practice, how much like headspace it takes to be in that moment, to try and get to be a part of those things. It's hard for people to be one part of those things, but he was a part of 3 of those big major things. The dude has completed in a bunch of marathons, a bunch of triathlons, and over 60 ultramarathons, which is an ultramarathon is considered anywhere from 36 to 100 miles.
すごいね.
And he stretches at least, minimum, he preaches this, he stretches at least 2 hours a day. And that's I think that's the first thing he does in the morning, is just stretch for 2 hours. And he's found that to be very successful for himself, and it's been working for him ever since. A lot of, I think his injuries are starting to occur are because he's just getting old. He's trying to keep up. He was a pull-up champion at one point. He set the world record for pull-ups, and his body has just been beaten down to the ground. I want to show you who this guy is. Let me warn you first. He is an absolute beast of a man. And I wouldn't take too much of what he's saying, like, too hard. But I can take away and extract things that he says to match my life. So let me show you what is up with this guy.
So I've been grinding lately. Had to go back to the fucking lab. Readjust some shit in my brain. Put a lot of miles in. Every day. Run over 20 miles a day. Getting up early. Going to bed early. Eating the right shit. This last week started taking a toll on me. I usually don't think too much. Get my shoes on, head the fuck out. I've been thinking a lot. That internal voice has been talking to me. Talking about, oh man, you're tired. Looking at my shoes about 30 minutes before I put the motherfuckers on. Pushing back the time that I go out to go run. So I decided to tape record myself. That internal voice I put on tape. Sounds like a straight bitch when I listen to that motherfucker. So if you ever have a hard time out there, tape yourself. Listen to what kind of bitch you're being. Stay home.
Dude, David Goggins, man, is just like a beast in his own. He's been on Joe Rogan. He's been on a bunch of platforms. Like, something about David Goggins people enjoy. David is just like a spectacle. He's literally someone that is just disciplined, and he works around his uncomfortable zones. And to me, like, that's a guy that's worth looking up to. And the things that people don't want to do, he does them. So I think about that all the time. And honestly, what he said about looking at your shoes for 30 minutes, sometimes I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm not ready to go till 6 because I'm telling something in my head is telling me, dude, I just can't do this. But I think about David Goggins, and I think about like hard work, and he just gets me to the next level. Another guy, we're gonna switch the tone here a little bit. Another guy that a lot of you are probably familiar with is your boy, Big Daddy, Monkey Brain, Joe Rogan.
Jesus Christ, look at the size of the sack on that guy.
So that's Joe Rogan. Dude, he's a great guy, man. Like, he's a little bit of a weirdo, but like, just again, sure will and sure training. He really does what he needs to do, and he thinks like he really believes in hard work. Like, he's not just a monkey brain, even though
When chimps attack people, they rip your dick off.
he says shit like that. But honestly, like, he knows what hard work is. Let's see, a little bit of Joe, a little Joey Joe, UFC commentator, we all know that. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and a 1987 US Open Taekwondo champion at 19. Like, he really committed himself for these kind of things. So he's a badass. He stretches, he does yoga, hot yoga, maybe 3 times a week. I'd be lucky if I last inside the shower with the steam on. So he's just like a different caliber of guy. Like, I really like Joe Rogan a lot. Like, not only because of his influence, but he's just a hard worker, man. Like, look at this guy, crazy. So my last 2 guys I want to talk about, they're also, I like to think of these guys as entry level. For me, I was really scared in the beginning. I didn't know what I was doing, and these 2 guys, I think, helped me break into like myself and knowledge in like a non-threatening way, in a way that's like natural, in a way that's like not weird, I guess. But Omar Isuf, this guy, and then Silent Mike, this guy. 2 guys have done a lot, man. They have really done a lot. Omar has been around since 2010, probably even longer than that, honestly. But these 2 guys, like, real strong dudes, like a lot of knowledge to learn from them. I don't know if you guys know, but in Sacramento they have Mike Bell, his strength training gym. Mike, this dude was actually a part of his team at one point. So like, the fact that he was able to join that team natural is kind of nuts in itself. Omar, I think one of his highest deadlifts were 700 pounds, which myself, I would never need to lift 700 pounds, but you can imagine like the toll that goes on with your body when you try to lift something that big. So what am I getting at here? Shit sucks, man. Shit sucks. Shit's hard, and if you don't take care of it, it's gonna be rough. So what I want to go over today was like a deep, focused stretch, some things that I use, and I may not necessarily use them all the time, but I definitely use them when that area is really peaking in terms of achiness and soreness. So that's what I want to go over today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move over to the mat. Basically, I'm just gonna talk it through, and if you guys have any questions, then you guys can leave comments and we can talk about it from there. So I'm gonna move this. All right. So how I like to think about this is I like to start standing up, and then from there we start from the. Actually, I like to start from the bottom up. So today I had a lot of calf tightness going on, and so I'd like to start there. Calf tightness and knee tightness. I think because I'm a little bit on the heavier side, like I'm using a lot of these guys, and these guys, and you can see like my calves are not big.
27,000 men are diagnosed each year with clinical depression because of their teensy calves. It's not their fault they were born weak sauce. It's genetics.
They're not big. So a lot of the energy is coming through here. So I like to call these pretty girls off as well. Bing, bang, boom. So those are my pretty girls. From there, we go to the hips. Some bring it around town. So hip circles. I try to keep a straight back. Do a few left, do a few right, do a few to the back. Really, you're trying to just open this up. You've been sitting in a chair all day, and you just want all of this to be like loose. Loose. Started at the bottom, and then the hips, and now we're in this section. And this is really big if you're in a chair all day, and that's what you're gonna do is you're taking this portion of your back and opening it and closing it. And I know it sounds weird, but this is how it's gonna go. So I'll just put my hands right here, and then I'm pinching my elbows back. So really, if my hands are down, my scapulas are pinching back. And then we're gonna reverse it and try and let your shoulders touch. Use that as a cue. So this part is being stretched, and then back, and stretch. Oh, honestly, just doing this a couple times, I'm already feeling great. Just up, back up. Okay. Okay. Thing I'll do. Oh. So I'll hang. I'll let the top part of my body hang. And I will just let it go. Let it go. Let that go. Let that go. Let gravity pull you down, and you're just turning up the hips. Turning up the hips. And granted, some of us can get down a little bit lower than others. If you can't get that low, don't be afraid to just like do it up a little bit higher. But mostly I want to feel it back here and then throughout the hips. So boom, okay, that's that. So we hit our hips, we hit our upper back, and all this region. You can see, like, I do have a gamer slouch, no doubt. No doubt. I'm not even exaggerating. That's just from sitting in a chair a lot. Okay? So, this is one thing I recently learned at this new jiu-jitsu gym that I joined when I'm just last year. And I come to find out that it's kind of a yoga technique, but it looks kind of weird. Let's just start there. The way I like to think about it is I like to lead with my elbows. So, you're going to come up. I kind of like to think of my arm as like a wave. So boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so you're feeling all of this right here is really like, it's so rare that you pick things up this way. So you're really pulling that muscle away from the scapula. Ugh. Oh man, guys, I wrote out a disclaimer. I should probably put a disclaimer before we start. Okay. My experience with stretching is completely anecdotal. It worked for me, aka is bro science. Don't attempt these stretches if you're cold or if you're unexperienced. You will snap your shit up. All the shit I'm doing, it took a long time, like years. And like, don't get discouraged, but as it goes, it gets better and better. So do not snap your shit up. Just take it slow, okay? Okay. So, we started here, 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 here. Okay. Boom. Yeah, so we're really starting at the shoulders, okay? From there, you just saw them. We'll do some shoulder circles. We'll do some back. We'll do some fronts. One of my favorite shoulder stretches is I'm reaching for the sky and reaching for the ground. I'm taking this up and almost like a swimmer. I'm really turning this shoulder in, trying to twist not twist, but pull these muscles back, as well as like, I don't know, how should I cave in on these muscles in the front. As this is also turning. I like to take this and just like, the bottom twisting, at the top we're twisting. Okay. From there, this is a very popular one that I learned from Martin Lisik's, I think 2020 Strongman. Very funny guy. You guys should check him out. So he likes to use weights. I don't mind just doing them without them. But basically, just pretend you're Superman, right? You're gonna rip your shirt open. Boom, boom. I like to switch hands. So top, now bottom, bottom, top. So we're always switching. Really, we're feeling it here. We're feeling it in the back. Really feeling it right here. Then we're gonna hug ourselves. Oh. Oh, good hug. Oh, that's a good hug. Oh, that's a good meow bear hug. Yep. Gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. So this, we're getting a deep stretch out, and then getting that real rounded back. Here, we're gonna do like a Michael Phelps stretch. Take the arms. Just gonna bring them back as far as we can. You see my elbows are bending? It's just because like I clearly can't go like that far back. So my elbow is naturally bending at its tightest point. So I like to take my hand on the post, turn as far as I can go, and then really just press in at that top shoulder. Right? Press in on the top of that shoulder. So we'll spend some time here for a little bit. Then I'll take the hand that's on the post, turn to the back, and then also get that flex. So I'm going to take my hand, top of my hand, put it in, and I don't think you can really tell, but I'm trying to twist my shoulder. Trying to really open up this space. To close out shoulders, what I'll normally do, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, is hanging. I like to hang, and I like to let my spine decompress. You know, you're just, sometimes in the day I feel it, I'm sitting there at my desk, and I'm like, just like, hunched over, and I have to really keep it in my brain that I gotta pull my shoulders back. Guys. That's no bueno. So I think decompressing your spine and hanging, you know, those people that hang with their ankles strapped to an inverting table, that's really good. I think those are really worth it for back health. So this, and I'll just hang. I'll pull my head like kind of forward and down to really stretch the spine. And you'll hear a lot of cracks as you do this. Pull my scapula down. Just play with it. Honestly, all of this is just fun. It's all fun time. When this bar is lower, I like to just stand here. I like to just hold myself up. Sometimes if my arms aren't working for me, I like to just hold myself up if that's too much. If that's too much of a strain on you, or your hands just can't hold for very long. Okay. So we're right there. So from here, we're gonna start on our neck. Your neck. So there are a lot of things you can do, and I think a lot of your back pain not only comes from your shoulders, but it's just being able to have some stretching capacity in your neck. The more loose your neck is, the less like it'll be stiff, and the less your back has like a toll to pay. And once again, this is bro science. A lot of this I'm just bullshitting to have filler words, so just keep that in mind, okay? I like to start off looking left to right. Chin to my shoulder, not to my shoulder, but parallel with my shoulder and just keeping it there for a second. So come to the center, not immediately swinging my neck to the other side, but coming back and then going. And I'm feeling a lot of this right here. Right here. I can really feel like myself like trying to tilt my back. So I'm trying to think about tucking my shoulder blade under to have a straighter back. Then from there, I'll do the same thing up and down. Circles, neck circles, right, and then left. A little bit of a more complicated stretch, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my head hang and kind of turn my head. This one is like really, you need to feel it. It's all how you feel. But for me, I'll like turn my head. And I learned this, I had to figure this out, or I learned this from sports therapy on YouTubers, and I find this to really, I feel the back, my muscles in the back really just like, really pull. So from here, I'll take my head, tilt it slightly, and I'm gonna pull my head down. So where am I feeling this? I'm pulling with my right, but I feel it on my left, the muscles in my back on the left side. Up. If you were to ask me, Malbear, what are go-to stretches for someone that works at a desk? So you see me doing like this, someone that works at a desk. I'll give them two answers. I'll tell them every hour is what I do at work. I'll sit at my desk and I'll flex my scapulas together. I'll do these like 5 times. Really pulling down on the head. I wouldn't actually say pulling down on the head, but I would say those neck exercises, I would also build that in to that hour, setting an hour alarm to stretch out your back. So I do those boom, bang, boom, bang, boom, bang, boom. I do those, and then I'll do all the neck routines. Boom, boom, boom. So that's it for the standing portion. We got some of our hips, we got our back, our neck, and our shoulders there. And then the last thing I'll move into, which I saved the best for last, not really, I say that ironically, it's hard, is the legs. The legs and the hips have always been a huge issue for myself, so I always save these for the end.